it's funny. Sometimes I tell people I'm in a reggae band, people who don't really know about reggae. And they go, what's reggae? And I go, you know Bob Marley? And they go, oh, Bob Marley, you play Bob Marley. And it's like the dude was so big that he's bigger than the genre.
Yeah.
It's like you play Bob Marley, right?
Right.
So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to play SOJA.
I got you.
Watch out, boom shot. You tell him say there's a make the weight and murmur now. So this one here, short shot, it can't stop. Boom shots!
Boom shots.
Yeah.
So, before we were so rudely interrupted, we were talking about this new record as sort of a bridge building exercise.
Right.
You've been pretty much a self-contained band for all these years, and this time you've worked with Super Dupes, who's a real dance hall guy who got into the pop world. A lot of it was done at Circle House, which is Inner Circles, Miami Sound Lab. So, what was the thought behind making these songs?
We've had a couple different approaches to records. So I think the first one was, let's just go in a studio and record our stuff. And there was nothing wrong with that. But then when we signed to ATO Records, they said, where do you see yourself going? And I said, I want to do the Bob Marley, which is to take a roots reggae band and add a rock producer to the whole thing.
Okay.
And for us, that was John Alasia, the guy who does a lot of the Dave Matthews stuff. Did the first John Mayer album, first Jason Mraz. A lot of that kind of, like roots rock type of stuff.
Okay.
With acoustic stuff. And so he was Strength to Survive, which was the last record, and we loved that, but we came out of it thinking, wouldn't it be great if we had something that like a Damien album, kind of you could like bump it in a truck, like turn it up and the thing cranks.
Yep.
Good old reggae, but 2014.
Yep.
And that's where Super Dupes came in. We did one song with him. We were in Circle House, and every day I would walk, because he has his own little zone in Circle House.
Yeah, the red room there.
So every day I would walk in and be like, what are you doing in here, Super Dupes? And he would play me rhythms and say, yeah, jump on this. And I would come back every time and say, why don't you just produce another song for SOJA? Okay, so I'll do another song. All right, why don't you do like 2 more songs with SOJA? Because we wanted him to do our live band. We didn't want to just get rhythms from him and then sing over him.
Right.
We wanted it to be SOJA playing the record.
Yep.
And he had never done a live band before, and he had never done a whole record before. And we had never worked with a hit-making producer. Well, John Alasia's a hit-making producer, but a hit in the sense of bumps in the truck, reggae style.
Yep.
And so it was new for all of us, big-time learning experience. But we got some hot tracks out of it, and people started to kind of take notice. So we would say, instead of saying, oh, this song's a hit, we need a hit maker on it, we would say, all right, well, I believe is about finding yourself inside yourself, and maybe all the answers have always been right in here.
Yeah.
Who knows that? Michael Frani sings about that all the time.
Okay.
Nako sings about that. And then we would have another song about being on the road and getting famous and having success and having none of that fuel you, really. And the only thing that fuels you is the original love you felt for music and for reggae music. And we said, who would understand that? Damian Marley would definitely,
Right.
So that's how we got the one with J-Boog. The song is called Easier, and it's about how life is easier when you don't lie, when you just are yourself.
Right.
You don't try to be something. You just are. And we said, who would understand that? Hawaiians. So we said, all right, J-Boog, Anuhea. And that's kind of how the bridge building process was built. It wasn't something where we wanted famous people to make our song more famous.
Okay.
Not at all. It was, we wanted people who related. So you see the people on the record, they go from 5,000 fans on Facebook to 5 million fans on Facebook.
Right.
And that's kind of how the guest stars are, because all these different people related to a different part of this record.
You don't just call up Junior Gong and say, hey, can you throw a verse on this track? Like, how did that come about?
My manager, Elliot Harrington's kind of a genius, and he's very good at building real relationships with people instead of just trying to get shit out of people.
Okay.
Because a lot of this industry is just people trying to get something.
Right.
And I think the way a lot of these artists work, at least the way I work, is that if I truly like something, I want to do it. And if I believe in it, I want to do it even more.
Right.
And money is one thing, and but really though, to work with the artists we worked with, I'm hoping that they kind of saw what it was I was trying to do and we were trying to do, and they believed that there was some truth to this thing, and they kind of wanted to join us. But no, you don't just call Junior Gong on the phone. I don't know how that worked out. I do know that we asked him to do one verse, and he came back and laced the entire song. Same with Michael Frane. We asked him to do one verse,
right,
and he came back and laced the entire song, to the point where we changed the name of the song from Everything Is Everything to I Believe. That was Michael who came with that I Believe stuff.
Okay.
And so both of those guys went above and beyond, and we couldn't believe it, you know, because Bob Marley is my hero. You know, I mean, my father and Bob Marley are like the two most influential people in my life, period.
Right.
And I don't see, and people ask me, they're like, oh, how's it working with Bob Marley's son? And you know, Damien, it's not like working with Bob Marley's son, it's like working with Damian Marley.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Right.
The guy comes on the track, he's an incredible musician.
Yeah. And
he does all this amazing stuff. So that guy is like, I mean, he's one of my favorite musicians, and then to have him on the track, it's exciting, man. Yeah, for sure.
So, I know you recently performed on the California Roots Festival, right? And Damien was on that this year. Just talk about that show and that scene, because I think there is, within the reggae world, there's an effort to kind of make sense of this new American reggae movement, you know, and a lot of people call it Cali reggae or, you know, surf reggae, all these different terms. You guys are from Arlington, Virginia. You're obviously not from California, but there is this thing happening out there. How do you make sense of that, and where do you see yourselves within that?
I mean, SOJA is a different kind of band. You know, I didn't know anything about Sublime growing up. I didn't know anything about any of that stuff.
Right.
All I knew is that there was Bob Marley, and then there was everything else. And so I can go, like, I'll go in a circle house and listen to Roger and Totes talk for 2 hours. I know literally every person they're talking about. I've never met any of them. But just the amount of research that we did into Jamaica, it's extensive, man. I know all those studios. I know all those old rhythms. I know all the engineers. I've never met them, but I know exactly who they are. So for me, I don't know. I look at SOJA and I see us as this kind of interesting band. We're not Jamaican, but we're not Cali. We're this kind of... We're kids from DC that grew up idolizing Bob Marley, you know, and loving that music and just thinking it was the greatest thing on earth. I still feel that way. You know, I put on a Wailers record and it's like, it's all right there. All the truth I felt when I was 13, 14, I still feel it now 20 years later. It's still right there. You know, when he just 5 days to go, working for the next day. I'm on the road singing that song in my head, like 23 days to go. But it's like, that stuff is still really, really real to me. So I don't know where SOJA lies. You know, where I want us to lie is just SOJA. And I think that's a part of the reason we wanted to do this tour with Spearhead, because you say Spearhead, you don't say that reggae guy Spearhead. No. You say Spearhead or you say Michael Franti. Same with Damien. You don't say, oh, that reggae. No, you say Damian Marley or you say Junior Gong. But that's it. It's just that name. So we want to just be SOJA, and we're going to keep putting out records until we're referred to just as SOJA, you know, instead of that reggae band or that American reggae band or that, you know, because for us, man, and nothing against any movement around the world, but we see ourselves as something kind of in and of its own, and that's where we started, and that's where we want to stay. Cali Roots is an awesome festival that's thrown by good friends of mine, Dan and Amy Sheehan. And they were the first ones who brought SOJA to Hawaii. First time I saw myself in a newspaper, on a radio, on a TV, on a billboard. That was those guys. They took a little hiatus, and then they came back, and Dan said to me, he said, you know, I'm thinking about doing this festival where we put the American bands as headliners, and it hadn't been done. You know, I would go to reggae festivals and we would play at 4 o'clock in the afternoon on a side stage. And I'm like, yeah, this is kind of weird though, you know?
Right,
and of course you have to give respect and tribute to the ones who have done it before. But it was strange to see 2,000 people walk over to the side stage at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. You know,
Right,
it's like,
right.
maybe we should. And Dan said to me, he said, you know, I'm fitting to change that. And he sold out, I think, every one of them. There's been 5 of them now. But yeah, Cali's got a strong reggae scene. There's about 50 good reggae bands in California.
Really?
Yeah, Revolution being the big one, and
Yeah.
just there's a million other ones.
Right.
But yeah, I think Soja's just kind of different. You know, it's Latin, it's got a lot of Jamaican,
Right,
it's
right.
got a lot of, and the lyrics are so heavy, man. It's just a lot of politics, a lot of ideology-based stuff.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, hopefully we can carve out our own niche like some of the guys before us.
Right.